The grass ain't greener. A key pillar of the Great Return philosophy is the recognition that the grass hasn't been greener. In our case, the idea that migrating to the developed economies of the West will lead us to a path of greater prosperity, fulfillment and happiness in life has proven to be a false assumption that we are all beginning to recognize. There has also been this common held belief that the Western world is a paradise, and those of us who are lucky to find ourselves living there will find ourselves in heaven. This belief has been a motivating, driving factor that has caused a lot of us to find ourselves living in a diaspora. However, what we have discovered by living in a diaspora is that the grass hasn't actually been greener. Of course, to some degree, there have been many advantages that come from living in the developed economies of the West, and to a large extent, the viewpoint commonly held about better economic opportunities was largely true in the 80s all the way to the early 2000s. But it's becoming very clear to us that this isn't the case anymore. In the Western world, we are witnessing a collapse of the middle class, increasing cost of living, wage stagnation, low GDP growth, increasingly competitive labor markets, and the rise of disruptive technologies like AI, automation, and robotics, which are going to pose a great threat to even those of us who are deemed as highly skilled. Socially, we have also realized there has been an additional price which we've had to pay as a result of living in the West. These are significant cultural differences which in a lot of cases caused us to compromise on our values and beliefs in an attempt to assimilate. There is still the continuous experience of racism, not just in everyday life, but in key institutions and in the work environment. We have also felt this constant feeling of not truly belonging or being able to connect at a deeper level. As we take all these things into consideration, a lot of us have started to realize that perhaps the gains of living in a diaspora versus the price paid has been very high. Recognizing that the grass hasn't actually been greener has been a major influencing factor which has caused us to redirect our attention back towards the motherland. It has caused us to reevaluate our circumstances, look at Africa from a different perspective, and ask ourselves whether there is actually more to gain in returning back to Africa instead of carrying on our existence in a diaspora. The core sentiment which binds those of us participating in a Great Return is that home sweet home. There is a certain feeling which we have not been able to feel for a very long time whilst living in a diaspora, and it's a feeling we have realized that we have been craving. And coming back home is not merely a decision we are making out of pure economic grounds, but for the desire to connect and feel that feeling of being at home and the security and sense of deep inner peace and joy that comes as a result of returning to the motherland.